Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode on Rewired Radio. I'm your host, DJ Drew.
And I'm Coral, your favorite event planner.
And today's guest is one of the best wedding photographers throughout Southern California. She's here to give us a new perspective behind the lens. She's flashy, classy, and she's sassy. Let's welcome Shelby Danielle.
Well, thank you. Hello. I'm Shelby Danielle, wedding photographer in Southern California, and I specialize in weddings as well as portraits. I live off of caffeine and love my daughter. But yes,
I love it.
Shelby, we're so glad to have you here with us today.
Thank you. Honored.
You are truly one of my favorite photographers.
Thank you.
And we're so honored to have you with us today. How you been? How's life treating you?
Good. It's last month. It was a little slow, which is normal for our industry. And then this month it's starting to pick up and we're getting ready for the spring season. So it's going to be busier than last year, I believe. So, because all the weddings are still going on over into the next year. So.
Totally. Everything that was kind of postponed, it's
Yes.
still trickling through.
Yes. And then the new bookings too. So,
Totally.
yes.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a pretty good year, 2022.
I believe so too.
Me too.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
So tell us, you are a full-time wedding photographer now.
Yes.
You quit your job 5 years ago to become a full-time photographer. When did you decide to make that jump?
So I was back, how many years after high school? I started in high school and then I was working part-time. And then from there, I ended up just booking so much in my part-time job. Luckily, my boss at the time was, willing to work with me. Like anytime it was slow, I was able to answer emails. She supported my business, all that. So she knew I was going to be there forever. But it just was getting so much bookings and limited time that I just decided that all the time that I'm working there for minimum wage, I could spend connecting with other vendors or booking more sessions or weddings. So from there, I just made the leap. I prepared for the 3 to 4 months. I just booked as much as I can to financially support myself. And it was more of a mindset that I said, I have to give it a try instead of worry. I was more worried that I couldn't financially support at the time my fiance and I, but it was more of a, let's do this thing. Let's see what I'm capable of. And ever since then, I haven't looked back.
Good.
Yay.
Good. No
That's
reason to look back. You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And you're getting clients at such a fast rate, doing weddings at such a fast rate. And for people out there who might be just starting out as a photographer, they're just starting this journey. What are some of the essentials that they need to get started?
I wouldn't worry too much about the equipment because equipment is constantly changing, but how you work with your equipment that you currently have, and then more so your client experience because, your clients are going to know how they're going to want to feel good with you in front of the camera and feel natural instead of so stiff. And having that, getting your client experience down, and it doesn't have to be gifts or anything, just more so having your expectations for them low and then exceeding those expectations because though your referrals are what's going to get you to continue booking. So focus on your clients and nailing down that experience before you worry about the top-notch equipment.
So you would say that referrals are the most important thing?
Definitely. Treating your clients with love, respect, and, mentioning what you're going to do, but then exceeding it. So whether, for photography, saying your clients are going to get their gallery in 3 weeks, but instead you do it a week or, walk with them through a timeline for photography. I know planners do that too, but photography sometimes planners aren't with the couples in the beginning of the day. So sometimes we're at a hotel or something.
Totally.
They need to know how long that's going to take. So helping them and giving them all the insight, all that is going to be helpful for your clients because they don't expect that. They think it's just going to be photography, but giving them more insight on how the wedding days go, they'll be appreciative of it.
What if they have nothing to get started with?
Really? Ask for a camera for Christmas for your birthday. I was fortunate enough to get my first camera in high school from a teacher. So she saw potential in me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And that at the time was only like a $300 camera. And I did my first few weddings on that. And then I built up. And then just really, if you are going to go into equipment, more focus on the glass, which is your lens, more than the body, because, you know, the glass is what is, you'll, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, you switch your lenses between prime and zoom, and then your body you can upgrade after you've invested in the lenses.
Got it. So it's not so much the most expensive camera. It's more so what you do with it, what you can create with it,
Yeah.
how you treat your clients.
The
Definitely.
person behind the camera is the
Yeah, it's
most
more important.
important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. And for our viewers that are brides to be,
Yes.
what wedding tips and tricks do you have for them when they're looking to book a photographer?
I would say first and foremost, look at the reviews, because I mean, this is kind of going off sidetrack, but one couple actually booked me the morning of. They called me at 8 a.m.
The morning of their wedding?
Yep, because their
Oh my
photographer
gosh.
canceled on them.
Oh.
And she ended up finding out, yes, they had a contract, but they ended up finding out there's no reviews or nothing. So I was like, okay, well, that's a huge red flag.
Yeah.
So I would look into the reviews as well as checking out a full gallery, because if you're looking at them on social media, photographers are sharing their highlight reel. So like their best of the best photos. So if you're wanting to see how they light a hotel room, how they handle the light during a church ceremony or direct sunlight during the ceremony, to your reception lighting, do they use flash? Do they not use flash? So those would be my top two, is just look at the reviews and a full gallery, because if you're just looking at social media, you can be fooled.
Totally.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of social media, you know, it's so saturated nowadays. And there's so many photographers on social media, specifically on Instagram, has a ton of photographers. And it feels like everybody these days is a photographer. So how do you separate yourself from the rest of the pack?
I would say, one, being on social media, being myself, and not just sharing my photography and my work. It's more of sharing my story outside of work, so they have a connection with me outside of just photography. So like I have a daughter, so I share my daughter, and other moms or my past brides then become moms. So then we connect, we still have that relationship, because we still, you know, relate to that. But I would say for the work, I would say that it's really about sticking to your style, because I know so many trends are going and changing that I know it might be hard as a photographer and you're comparing yourself, oh, everybody's booking this one, but stick to your guns and just like keep at it, because there's going to be some bride out there that, or really anybody who's going to love your style more than another, even though it doesn't feel like it. There are plenty of others who are looking for your style, whether you are light and airy or moody. There is someone out there for you.
And I got to say, I love your style in general.
Me too.
Thank you.
It's so
Thank you.
perfect, especially for weddings, just the brightness, the
Thank
contrast of your
you.
photos. I think it's something special, and it really resonates specifically with weddings. If we can actually show a few of her wedding photos, I think they're absolutely gorgeous. And
They're so
Thank you,
timeless.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
they really are timeless. I mean, it's beautiful, it's vibrant, it's bright.
Oh my goodness, that is so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ah.
Helps when the brides are, you know, relaxed and everything too. Like I mentioned, it's walking them through how to pose and the candid stuff too is what I absolutely love.
Oh, that one's so cute. That one's super candid, you can tell. Oh, I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
it's you're just a perfect example of what a photographer should be.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not a photographer,
Yes.
but like maybe on Instagram. But I know that lighting is key when
Yes.
capturing a really good photo. So what is the best lighting? Standing in front of the sun, the side,
It
in
all
the shade?
really depends, because
Okay.
if you are inside, you do want your back towards the window where the sunlight is coming in, and really you can work the other way around with, you know, you actually facing the window, but then you're gonna have it backlit, and it really depends on how the light is. And then outside too, it depends on what type of look you're going for, because the moody photographers may want the direct sunlight on their clients, whereas myself love the golden light behind them. And it really just all depends, and it really I can't say too much until we're in the situation.
Right.
But if you are, not a photographer and you just want a good selfie, stand in front of a window and you'll have that natural light coming in. And the soft light, the better. So soft meaning the sun isn't directly right there. Yes, that golden light looks so good sometimes on skin, but we just want even light. And so that way you see everything. Unless, again, you want it moody, then you want
So
direct
there's
sun.
no specific good lighting. It just depends on every situation and kind of who's the photographer.
Yes.
But okay, I will take notes on the selfie.
Yes,
Stand in front of a window.
Well, I mean, with so much of the reels and TikToks going on, you can tell what one knows about lighting, and it's really just put the phone right in front of your window, and you'll have the best light. So
there you go. I love it.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Cool. And to add to that, on a wedding day, while you're in the moment, while you're shooting, can you immediately tell which shots are going to make the cut, which ones will not?
I would say yes. I get excited. I mean, when it's good light, the emotion is good, I clicked at the right time, I'm excited to get home just to go through the wedding photos and edit
you
those.
already know, like when you get home, you just know which ones are going to make it. Which
There's
ones
always
won't.
at least a handful that I'm just like, yes, I nailed it. Let's go ahead and get that into their sneak peeks. Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
That's cool. That's cool. And when you're taking these close-ups, Shelby, can you actually read the couple's face? Like, can you tell on their wedding day if they're happy, if they're excited, if they're nervous? Can you sense any doubt on their face?
Not so much doubt. I haven't had anybody show doubt. If they have, they're really good at hiding it. But everything else, yes, especially the grooms. It's just something about the grooms where they're, when it's just more so us right before a first look or right before ceremony and I'm zoomed into their face, their emotion, and then and whether they just laugh or because they're just nervous or they end up tearing, I can see it. But doubt, I don't know about that.
You can read their emotions.
Yeah, and I know when to click because of it. Because
you're a mind reader.
She's telling us she's a mind reader.
He's like, hey,
basically.
can I still get out of this while I can?
No.
I read you.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So I'm a soon-to-be bride.
Congrats.
Thank you. I'm so excited. But I know picking my photographer was so important. It was number one priority for me because your wedding photos, you have them forever.
Yep.
They're on your wall, they're with you forever. But aside just from photos, you're married.
Yes.
For your wedding, what is something that you would change or do differently just so I can kind of keep note and for our viewers watching, they can kind of keep note?
Really? It's so hard because I get this question asked all the time, especially when we first got married. And our day was so good. And there's nothing really I would change, but more so hire a planner.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I like where this is going.
Absolutely, folks.
I only say that because with being in the industry before getting married, I thought I had it down. And then the venue coordinator, or really whatever they call it, they are only there for a certain amount of time. And they leave before we leave.
Right.
And we actually lost all of our ceremony stuff. So I purposely bought and did do-it-yourself stuff so that way we can keep our ceremony stuff and along with my veil. But they lost everything besides my veil. So luckily, I don't know how I got that back, but I got that back. And luckily, because my grandma made it. But I would say just hire a planner because they end up knowing where everything's at. There's no miscommunication. They know just so much behind the scenes. And then really just focus on each other because the day is about you two, you and your future spouse. And keeping that as your focus will make your day so much better because so many people are going to have your opinions about, oh, do this, do that. Just stick with what you want. And I mean, really another thing would be don't invite people you are questioning about because
I love that.
Because it's one of those things is they're going to be in your photo. You not think about when you're making your guest list, think about who do you see in your life in 10 years? Because there are people that I see in the photos that I don't talk to anymore. And it's sad, but at the same time, it's, you're struggling oh, well, they've been through, so much with me.
Yeah.
But it's really just think about the people that you'll be friends with or, family that you'll still be in contact with for 10 years down the line because it's they're in your photos and then you're also paying a hefty price for them to be there. And then some people don't even show up. we had 15 people not show up. And that's
15?
15.
Oh my
Day of, they said they weren't
gosh.
showing up. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it was like pretty much a whole table.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that money could have gone to a honeymoon,
Uh-huh.
you know. Oh, we
It's a
did do a
bar.
honeymoon, but
right.
yeah, the bar, like
Mhm.
there's so many different things. So really just think about the guest list. Like
Yeah.
go over it multiple times before you
That's a
send
good
up.
point.
Save the dates and invitations because and really if they're hurt, then they're not,
They're not a good friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should understand. So
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Are these people going to be in your life in 10 years?
mhm.
Right. 'cause
Sorry,
like you
half of my guest list is gone. I'm just kidding. Love you guys.
Right, because you make
Yeah.
a good point. You know, those photos are timeless, and you want to look
Yeah.
back at those photos and see the people that
Mhm.
showed up and
Yeah.
you're still in contact with.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah.
Wow, you
But
learn something new every
keep
day.
keep you and your fiance as a center because
Yeah.
that's what the whole wedding is about is you guys
Exactly.
getting married and that's what it's all about. Everybody else is there just to celebrate you guys. So make
Yeah.
it how you want.
I love this. I
Yeah.
am definitely taking all the notes.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I know we kind of touched base on this, but for any aspiring photographers out there that are looking to book more weddings like you, Shelby, you're booking a lot of weddings these days. What would you recommend for them to do to get started? Should they use social media more often? What do you suggest?
Social media, yes. And like I mentioned earlier, just, be yourself and share outside of just photography. Show your face on social media. People want to know who they're hiring. And as photographers, we are there with the bride more than anybody else, more than mom and dad, your fiance or future spouse. So you want to be with someone that is going to connect. So, and then also I would say, just again, treating your clients well because those referrals, that's where most of my business is just referrals. Like an extra bridesmaid saw how I worked and treated the couple. And so then
Oh,
they want
wow.
to book me. And then same with the mom guest that saw how I worked. So then her daughter's now getting married. So it's like one of those things. You have to be like top notch on the wedding day.
Exactly. You have
Mhm.
to be on top of it.
Yes.
And would you say that booking the engagement photos helps heighten your chances of booking the actual wedding itself?
So yes, I actually include it in my packages because I value engagement sessions so
Mhm.
much and you get to see how the couple gets to work and then the couple gets to see how I work. But definitely if you're starting out and you just want to go ahead and do the engagement session and then they book you later, then I would say definitely.
So it definitely ups your chances.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Just so that way they can see because they might have worked with like their cousin as a photographer and then they see someone that actually knows what they're doing and then they're impressed.
Totally.
And you get to know the couple
Yeah.
in front of the camera
Yes.
and see how they
Yeah.
work.
You're the third
and-
wheel. So it's like,
Yeah.
and you get to hang
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
And you want to be their friend.
yeah.
You want to
definitely.
be interactive with them and you
Yes.
want to be there to keep them
Yeah.
comfortable on their
Yeah.
wedding day.
Definitely.
Totally.
And
Love
they get a glimpse of it and then they get a date out of it. They just have a third wheel photographer with
It's
them.
fine.
And then they get photos out of it too. So
I love
works out.
that.
It's
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, guess what?
What?
I have a surprise for you.
Uh-oh.
I thought we could do a little game. Are you ready for the game?
I'm not sure if I'm ready for this. You ready, Shelby?
I'm a little nervous.
So we love to do toasts. and
Okay.
so I thought to spice up our toast that we would do a game. So
Uh-oh.
I didn't mention that it was a
Okay.
drinking game, but that would definitely
Please
spice
don't.
it up. Okay. So for this game, everyone open their Trulies.
Look at this.
I know.
Beautiful Trulies here.
I'm gonna have a
We
sip.
we are at a wedding, guys.
Mhm. They have Trulies and White Claws now on the
Mhm.
menu. At
I see that.
weddings.
I photograph it. I photograph the menus. I
It's
see
great.
it.
You might as
Yes.
well. Okay, so for this game, I'm going to read off a couple different statements.
Okay.
Okay, so these statements are yes or no answers. I'll
Mhm.
read the statement, count up to 3, and then all at the same time we'll either say yes or no
Okay.
if we agree or disagree with that statement. If, for example, DJ Drew and I both say yes, but Shelby, you say no, you would
Mhm.
have to drink. Okay? Don't be nervous, guys. There's only like 6 statements.
Don't be
okay?
scared.
Don't be scared. All right. I'll keep it easy.
Okay.
Okay. I have my note cards here.
Sounds good.
So, number 1, couples should do a first look before the ceremony. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
That's
I'm
right.
shocked by this
I
one.
said it.
Why
Okay,
is
yeah.
that?
Please tell us why.
Well,
First drink,
Yes.
well,
and then tell us why.
I'll tell you why. Call me old-fashioned,
Okay.
but I think everybody, including the groom, should see the bride as she's walking down the aisle for the first time. I know it gives that element of surprise, but when you see them for the first time and it's just you and her, just the groom and the bride, it's nice. But I like that element of surprise when she's walking down the aisle for the first time.
I do agree
I
with
get the
him.
photos. I get
Yes.
the
I
photos
will
are great.
say, my husband cried both times when he first saw me and walking down
And
the
that's
aisle.
what I'm hoping my fiance does too.
So, like, you will stick to your guns with that. But I will say that, especially if a bride is wondering on whether or not to do it, just because they want that reaction, my husband cried both times. So if your husband or future husband is going to be an emotional guy, he'll cry both
Now,
times.
don't get me wrong. I think the first look is great if you want to capture those photos before the ceremony begins. I think that's a great idea. But I believe that you should see her for the first time as she's walking down the aisle.
There you go.
Yeah, and
Stick to it.
everyone has their opinions.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
Okay.
And
number two.
I always say, like, hey, you do what you want to do. I'll capture however your day wants to flow.
Yeah.
So stick
Whatever
with
they
it.
want, you'll be there.
Yep,
You know?
exactly.
And same with being a wedding planner. Whatever
Yep.
they want, I can put that in the timeline.
Yep,
It's easy for me
exactly.
too. DJ, you just play music, you know?
That's
I'm
all I
just
do here.
kidding.
I see his future wife walk down the aisle.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, number 2. Sunset photos are a must for couples at their wedding. 1, 2, 3.
Yes. Hopefully there is sunshine.
Yeah, that's
I did not have that.
true.
We put time in the timeline, but we didn't have a sun. So what we did is just enjoyed our time with our guests instead.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you compromise.
Yep,
Things don't happen as they're planned, which is
Yes.
fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out you enjoy more time with your
We all
guests.
hope that you get that sunshine because as photographers, I like go crazy and I love the sun. So, I mean,
Totally.
that's what makes the light, but you got it.
Yeah. And if it's cloudy on your wedding day, you'll be
all good.
fine.
Yes,
it works
yes.
out. Okay. So we don't have to drink for that one. We all agreed.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. Number 3. Dogs should be allowed to attend the wedding. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Wow. I
think
thought
that's
someone
an
would say
easy
no.
yes.
I thought someone was going to say no.
No,
I will
Yeah.
say, as photography, and I've seen the dogs, that you
Yeah.
do need to have someone there to hold the dog. Because,
Like a dog sitter
Yes,
or
yes.
the maid of honor or someone that you trust with your dogs. I agree.
Yes.
But I think they're so cute in
Yes,
photos.
yes. Or if they're like the flower, if it's, flower girl ring bear walking down, that's so cute.
I want mine to walk down the aisle.
Oh, yes, do it.
But I feel like they shouldn't stay the whole entire time because
Yeah.
I just don't want them to be a distraction.
They should be there for the grand entrance with the bride and groom and the bridal party.
I have not seen
They
that.
should be
cute.
running in first.
Have you seen that
When-
done yet?
I have not.
I should do it.
Yes, do it.
Wait, that's so cute. I love that idea.
I would
They
totally
would
make
totally
that
do
announcement.
it. I have 2 Australian Shepherds, so they're very outgoing.
Do
so they
it.
would totally do
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Because they're the star of the show
Yes.
for everything.
not?
Yes.
Why not?
And they're part of you guys becoming a family, so
Yeah.
It is
do it.
part of her
totally.
family.
yeah.
Again, mental notes.
Yes.
Okay. Number 4, pre-gaming before the wedding is a good idea. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, is it yes because wait, hold on. You got a drink.
I
I
was hoping you forgot.
Is it because of the nerves? Okay, but I have to say, watch the drinking though.
Yes. I don't want to
Because-
be like lazy eyes.
Yes.
I don't want to be like too loosey-goosey, but I feel like I need a couple glasses of champagne.
I will say this though, it depends on the kind of person that you
Yes,
are.
yes.
Because
Yeah.
I've been there at weddings where we were in the limousine already pre-gaming and this one girl was just sloppy,
Yes.
drunk,
Right
Yeah.
before
like
ceremony,
super
huh?
sloppy before the ceremony even begins. We're heading to the
Yes.
church and this
Oh, to the
girl is
church,
to
and
the
she's-
church. Yeah, and
Aw.
she's just sloppy.
Yes. So I would
Like-
say, as a bride, just like whether it's you or like you're watching your wedding party, just like
Mhm.
limit them. Like
Yeah.
yes, but no.
Exactly. Yeah.
One glass.
One glass, 2 max.
Yes.
But pre-gaming, I feel like if I put all like the groomsmen together before the wedding, that's a terrible idea because they're all going to
Yeah.
be drinking White
Yes.
Claws and Trulies together,
Yes.
and do not do that.
Yes. Because your photos too. Because
Yeah.
by ceremony, if they get through ceremony,
Yeah.
after that, it's just your photos are not going to be. We'll do everything we can, but sometimes
It's hard
the
on you,
wedding
too.
party is just all like yes, it's just
And
it's
to
a show.
Bring them all together. You're
Yeah.
like, this is not my job.
Yes,
Just I'm here to
yes.
take the nice photos. Please
Yes.
stand still.
And the couple then will suffer because we're taking more time on the
Mhm.
wedding party to make sure that their eyes are open
Yeah.
and they're standing up straight, all that. So
Hey,
yes,
so
you
only
can.
1 glass of champagne.
Know your limits.
Yes, exactly. Okay, number 5. Couples should go to their honeymoon right after the wedding. 1, 2, 3.
No.
Wow.
I'm shocked on this one.
I would say, like, instantly I was like, yes, because we did, but we went the day after. So are you thinking like day after or like right after the wedding?
Like this means like a day or two after the wedding. Like you're
Okay.
still on that wedding
Yeah.
high, you're going to your honeymoon, or do you kind of like wait a week, go home?
Wait some time. We did the next day. I was thinking we would be fine because I'm like, okay, next day we got to open gifts. You know, we already packed before the wedding, but open gifts and everything. But we were so tired. And we did a red eye to the Bahamas. So like it was just that first day of our honeymoon, we slept instead of enjoying the island. So
Exactly.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
you know? You're spending the time and the hours flying there.
Yes.
And you can't get a good night's sleep on a red eye flight.
No,
so sorry.
no. We thought we would, but no. I would say wait a few days. I mean, some past brides have even waited a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something to look forward to. But I did love the fact that we were still on that like wedding high.
Yeah.
It's just I would have waited a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably wait like a week because I want to be recovered. I want to open presents. I want to just like be able to sit there and be like, oh my gosh, my wedding just happened.
Yes.
Soak it in.
Soak it in.
Mm-hmm.
While your family and friends are still, if they're
still there.
Yeah, because some might come out of town and at least spend more time with them because the wedding day just goes by so fast.
Right. And I know people that had so many guests come and travel and then they left for their honeymoon that next morning and their grandparents were still in town.
Yeah.
I know couples who leave right after the ceremony.
That is,
oh my gosh.
Couples that soon as the reception ended, they went straight to the airport.
I've had one in the over 8 years I've been doing this do that. And I'm like, how?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just finished partying and they went straight to Greece.
They're on that to Greece. That's not
Greece.
even like around the corner.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You're on this wedding high. You're like so excited. But then like once you're there and you're relaxed, you're going to be so exhausted.
When you finally sit down, it's just like, wow. Like I've never been so tired. I even went through labor. That's a whole different like tired. But after a wedding, as a bride, I mean, we feel how tired we are after a wedding.
Yeah.
But as a bride, it's like, it's just different because you're just like so many emotions throughout the day. And then you finally get to sit and it's just like, wow, I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's so tiring. A wonderful day, but tired.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. It's my favorite. Our last statement. It's not a question. Okay. Hiring a wedding planner, a photographer, and a DJ is a must.
Absolutely.
I didn't even count down yet. 1, 2, 3.
Yes, absolutely.
No brainer.
No brainer on that one.
Folks, do yourself a favor. This is the trio right here that you need for your wedding to make a successful wedding. You need a team of a great photographer, wedding planner, and a DJ. Your wedding is going to go off without a hitch. With that said, Shelby, I'm sure you've seen a lot of things throughout the years, right? A lot of crazy things, I'm sure. What's the wildest thing you've seen at a wedding?
Now that we open the tree.
Yes. I mean, really, most of them all happen during the reception when there's some drinking. I mean, there have been like runways. There have been like
runways.
Like, okay, so it was for the garter toss, and she was sitting in the chair, and the groomsmen put some like cones out. They had the flashing thing for a runway as if he was an airplane. He came on in with a leather jacket, things like that, and then people on the dance floor just like get crazy. They get on the floor, all that. And then there's one we did where he's in the band. A groom was in a band, and he ended up doing with
he came out with his band and like this Guitar Hero.
Yes.
Wait, what do you mean?
He was just jamming out with his band. I think we actually have a clip of that, don't we, Solomon? Can we roll that clip?
I would love to see that. So
he came out with his band, just with like a Guitar Hero, and they're just rocking out in front of everybody.
The guests loved it because they know look at going on.
Look at the girl in the back, like headbanging.
They all ended up doing that towards the end.
So did the bride know?
The bride's right there.
That I don't think she knew.
Oh my gosh.
She was there too.
But she was all out. I don't think she knew, if I remember right, because we had to communicate it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And we were like, okay, yes, it's about to happen. So I don't think she knew.
Okay. That's fun. I love surprises like that.
Him and the bands went backstage and they're like, hey, cue me when it's time. I don't think she did know.
No. And then she was all for it. She was headbanging and everything.
Yeah,
because
so
that's
they came
him.
out, guitars, drums, just ready to rock out.
Yeah. And your wedding is about you too. You
Yes,
should do fun
yes.
things that make you guys happy. And that makes him
Absolutely.
happy. And she
Yes.
likes seeing him happy. And there you
Yeah,
go.
it worked
That
out.
was a
that's
wild
so
one
cute.
too.
Yes,
They were full of shenanigans.
They're all on the dance floor. I love when that happens. When they're all on the
Totally.
dance floor.
It's
Whenever-
easier
Makes
for
your job
you.
It makes my job easy because I'm just clicking
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love improvised stuff like that
Yes.
when it just comes out of nowhere. So
Yes.
it's cool to have that element of surprise.
Yes.
So on that note, Shelby, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having
It was
me.
awesome having
Such
you.
an honor. I
And
love
if
it.
any of our viewers out there want to reach you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
I am on all social media as Shelby Danielle Photography. So just search that up and you'll find me.
Yep.
Yes.
And on that note, folks, until our next toast,
Until our
Yes.
next toast.
cheers.
Yes. Cheers.